Welcome back, everybody, to Fun Factor RC. My name is Wes, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Emax Babyhawk R 2-inch version. This one is black, plug and play, so we will have to add our own receiver. This one was $149 at the local HobbyTown Phenix City. I will add a link to them. That's going to be the greatest HobbyTown ever. The greatest hobby store ever. And that's the open box. I see a XT30 already. See a capacitor already. Some Schwank red props that all fit down in there nice and neat. That's actually pretty cool. Straight to it. That's the quad. I do like the smoke canopy. Oh, look at this. Is this wires for your receiver? How easy is that? That is so cool. They make that easy. That makes me feel good. On the cover of the box, they have this antenna actually coming out this hole in the top, and I guess you have your options there. If anything, I may zip tie it where it's at or poke it out the top. I don't fly very far, especially with these. I'm just in the yard. The camera is adjustable. I understand that it only goes until it touches here, the little shroud down there. The motors are RS Race Series 1106, and I'm not seeing a 6,000 kV. It looks like that's 6,000 kV. It is very, very tiny. XT30 connector. Capacitor to help with power spikes and video noise, I believe. I do like the soft pad on the bottom for your battery, and the battery strap is already there. Plastic buckle. The arms are replaceable as a front arm or rear arm section. These screws will release the arm. They did not do anything on the arms as far as these wires, so I'm assuming that's good. If anything, I may add a zip tie. You know, I love adding zip ties to stuff. Also, in our box, here is the foam with the props in it. Also in our box is a JST connector, I guess, just in case you want to go that route. This looks like a program card for a Foxeer camera. That's pretty cool to configure your OSD. Great, that's awesome. I also see some washers and screws in there, and screws here for your props. Inside the box with the foam and the props are your instruction manual with the exploded view here. Also a Foxeer manual showing you how to use your controller with the camera. Excellent, very cool. Nice little camera in there, that's excellent. The motors feel very stiff, and you can feel the magnets. That makes me feel like it's going to have some punch. Extra screws, like I mentioned before. And what we're going to do is I'm going to pair this with a 3S 450 milliamp battery. That's what I run on this size. And charge those up, and we'll get you some flight footage outside, hopefully before it rains. Thanks everybody for watching. Appreciate you, and everybody be safe. What we're going to do is remove these screws from, you're not with that one, you're not. Remove these screws from the canopy. 2 screws either side of the camera, 2 screws in the bottom, and hopefully that will release. Oh look, they give you a little piece of double stick tape right here for your receiver. What receiver, you may ask? This receiver. Shabam, like a so. And since they were just, focus on me, please. And since they were kind enough to give us these little wires hanging out here that go here, here, and here, respectively. S-bus, yellow on, if you held it this way, the S-bus is on the top, 5 volts in the middle, ground on the bottom. S-bus has the square solder pad, I believe, because the square ones are UARTs. And someone please correct me if I'm wrong. The square pads are for where it communicates through the board. And all I'm going to do is tin these. I will strip back a tiny little bit of this wire here. I don't know what is wrong with this camera. Strip back a little bit of those wires and get this put in. I may see, I'm going to try to face it this way. I know I'm going to cover this up, but I don't really need that. And if I stick this sticker here to that right there, this direction would make me really happy, because then I could split my antennas. Well, we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, but that's how I would like to do it. I'm going to go ahead and get that installed. We will see about getting it hooked up and make sure the TX is talking to the RX, make sure they're bound, and we'll plug it up to Betaflight before we go outside while we're charging the batteries, just to get our switches set up or see where they have them. I like my fail-safe switch, and I like my arm switch, and I like at least stability and air mode, you know. Thanks everybody for watching. I'll see about soldering these real quick, and I'll be right back. Peeled that little tape, and just for argument's sake, I'm gonna the bind button's on this side, so I'm gonna mount the other side down. That way I feel like I can reach that bind button, and then we will just have to figure out what's going on with these antennas. I can run one out on one side. There's plenty of holes and vents up here. There was no problem running that. I'll go ahead and put this back together. Well, first we should bind it and all that. Yeah, don't put that back together. Let's take it to the bench. We'll take it in there to the laptop and plug it up and see what's going on with the switches and make sure we're talking to the receiver. Okay. Can you guys see my screen? You can see my screen. So you know that Race Day Quads has an advertisement right here on my screen. How do y'all like that? RaceDayQuads.com. free plug-in all day. I see lights. I heard sound. Oh yeah, I heard extra sounds. I would like to connect. It does connect. I have arm, angle mode, horizon. Got a beeper set up, so I will have switches. Hit them switches. This one. 3S. But we need to hold down this button and then plug this in. I have red light on receiver. I am hitting the bind. Oh, things have happened. Lights have happened. Alright, so we take this up. Let's go back to Betaflight. You might call it Betaflight, I call it Betaflight. So now we are bounded.
Welcome to OpenTX.
I like to restart the radio. It is connecting. Connecting that time. It does that sometimes. Alright, so we got that where it's talking to the transmitter. And also I know where my switches are now. And I'll see about putting the props on there. And you guys, alright, here I got my props on the 2-inch quad. I want to show everybody how I do my orientation for props. All of the props that are facing down and up towards the flight controller are sloped into the flight controller. I face them all up and down so that they're the ones closest to the flight controller will slope towards the flight controller. That's just my little rule of thumb, my little trick. Let's figure out what we're going to do with these antennas. They had it like that, which is not bad. I may leave that going out the back like that and have these coming out the roof. That way we'll save some confusion. And as far as stiffening them up and keeping them out of the props, I bet you a zip tie zipped onto the middle hole and pointed up like this, or actually out. Because of the diversity antennas, I'm going to want to point them out like this. And I think that's what I'm going to do. Get my little screws back in there. We'll also get our canopy / camera mount screws in on the sides here, and I will right about there, about I like a little slope to my camera. I may not have the mostest slope to my camera. No, I have lost a screw. See about getting the prop screws. Now, when you choose your prop screws, you'll have to use a certain size, or else they go right through the housing at they go right through your housing, damage your motor. These were the screws they have afforded us to And with these little motors, what I like to do is drop a screw down in there, and then I turn it until it falls down and I know it found the hole. And then you can't tighten your prop nuts too tight or it will break the props. The goal is just to snug them down. You don't want to go wrenching on them. I put the screw in there and I turn it till it drops down in place. Show you that again. I put the screw in the hole and I slide it around. See, it was already in there. Last time. And I hold the motor and I spin the prop till the screw falls. And I know it's in there. This is it. I guess while I'm waiting on the batteries to charge, I will do my little trick with the zip ties to get the antennas out of harm's way. I should have run that receiver long ways. It may have fit better. I see it's poking out the side here, looking like it's trying to push the bind button. And if it becomes a problem, I will move the receiver. Fresh tape. I'm fixing to go put some, I'm gonna put some zip ties on the antennas and some heat shrink. Hopefully, when I zip this up, oops. There, and I'll put some heat shrink over it like this, and it'll be perfect. I like my first approach, so I'll do the second one the same way. I also want to notice that you can reach the USB port without taking the canopy off, so maybe I was just doing extra work earlier. And there goes my little ears, my whiskers. Let me grab some heat shrink. I have a little heat gun for this sort of thing on the side of my soldering station, but I got this cigarette lighter right here. I guess I should have measured that. Oh, well, it's about perfect. This one's fine. And I do want to recommend that you run heat shrink over that part if you can. This is a smaller heat shrink because it'll hold better. And I recommend a full length of heat shrink because I tried to do it in strips before. Now that doesn't really hold. And then if you put it in the blue flame, it seems to not scorch it so bad. But of course, this is the best way to do it. Flame below. But I like touching the flame. That gives you the soot. You won't see it on this black. And we have heat shrunk that. We'll do this other one. And I will leave it long just for appearance. Ooh, that's hot. And do not burn yourself, kiddies. Do not try this at home. I do not recommend this. Have your parents do this for you. Oh, I think that's it right there. Got my antennas the best I could. That is more than a 45, but, well, no, that's pretty dead on, ain't it? Not really dead on. Pretty good, though. We'll fly it. If they flop down in there and become a problem, we will just change what we're doing. I'm ready. Waiting on batteries. Sweet. Go ahead and take the cap off. I have not set up the OSD. I am just going to rock with it, just like it sits. Hopefully, when I zip this up, oops. There, then I'll put some heat shrink over it like this, and it'll be perfect. I like my first approach, so I'll do the second one the same way. I also want to notice that you can reach the USB port without taking the canopy off, so maybe I was just doing extra work earlier. And there goes my little ears, my whiskers. Let me grab some heat shrink. I have a little heat gun for this sort of thing on the side of my soldering station, but I got this cigarette lighter right here. I guess I should have measured that. Oh, well, it's about perfect. This one's fine. And I do want to recommend that you run heat shrink over that part if you can. This is a smaller heat shrink because it'll hold better. And I recommend a full length of heat shrink because I tried to do it in strips before. Now that doesn't really hold. And then if you put it in the blue flame, it seems to not scorch it so bad. But of course, this is the best way to do it. Flame below. But I like touching the flame. That gives you the soot. You won't see it on this black. And we have heat shrunk that. We'll do this other one. And I will leave it long just for appearance. Ooh, that's hot. And do not burn yourself, kiddies. Do not try this at home. I do not recommend this. have your parents do this for you. Oh, I think that's it right there. Got my antennas the best I could. That is more than a 45, but well, no, that's pretty dead on, ain't it? Not really dead on. Pretty good though. We'll fly it. If they flop down in there and become a problem, we will just change what we're doing. I'm ready. Waiting on batteries. Sweet. Go ahead and take the cap off. I have not set up the OSD. I am just going to rock with it, just like it sits. And the only thing I have to say about the performance of this quad is 3, 2, 1. Thank you everybody for watching my video. Please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to keep up with more content. Y'all be safe and happy flying.